Hi everyone, I'm Sneer, and I lead engineering here at Retool. Welcome to our first Developer Day. I'm so excited for our team to walk you through some of our most recent and upcoming updates for Retool. Before we jump into everything that's new, I wanted to take a minute to share a bit about the evolution of Retool. Retool started with a deep focus on helping developers build front ends faster. You connect to any data store or API and build apps at warp speed. Retool abstracts so many parts of building business software, from resource connections to audit logging to auth, all of the hairy parts you'd rather not spend time on. Over the past few years, we've seen hundreds of thousands of web apps get developed on Retool, so it's been natural to extend our platform. Developers can now build rich native iOS and Android apps, spin up visual workflows for compute tasks, and provision data stores to manage data. With this suite of products and services, Retool empowers you to ship full-stack production-grade business apps faster. We do this by combining the speed of visual programming with the power and extensibility of writing code. In Retool, you can start by dragging and dropping over 100 pre-built UI components, or you can write your own custom React components. Our goal is simply to make Retool the fastest way for your team to build, maintain, and extend business software. The tools we have all come to expect as builders, solutions for debugging, permission frameworks, testing, analytics, and so on, all exist in Retool. We also integrate with the most popular Git providers so you can source control Retool apps, manage deployments, and collaborate effectively. We are always looking to make Retool an environment where developers love to build. Engineers at Amazon are launching satellites into space with Retool. Engineers at Snowflake are letting their security teams maintain SEC compliance via Retool. Engineers at NBC are using Retool to plan demand for the Olympics. The list goes on and on. Altogether, we're changing the economics of business software. With Retool, one developer can build a full-stack app in hours, not months. And where I get most excited is when we see that leverage and business impact realized at scale. A 15-person nonprofit with one engineer can use Retool to scale their operations as their numbers grow from 5,000 to 500,000. We're just getting started. Today, we're so excited to share several major improvements for developers. You're going to hear about data storage in Retool, dozens of improvements to our app builder, and new language support for automation via Python, which was a particular ask from you, our customers. And we have some really exciting updates about incorporating GPT into Retool to make developers even more productive via natural language. To that end, let me pass it over to Taylor to share more.
Hi there, I'm Taylor, a product lead here at Retool. As you just heard from Sneer, we think of Retool as both a developer tool that lets you build apps fast, as well as a comprehensive platform on which to actually operate your business. Today, we're here to talk to you about 3 areas of deep investment that we've made in the Retool platform. We'll dive into how we're making it easier to get the data you need into Retool, improvements to Retool so you can build even faster, and how you can set up powerful backend scripts and automations using Retool. I want to kick us off today with an exciting new addition that powers the most important part of any application, the underlying data. At the core of the Retool platform and central to any app that you build in Retool is a powerful data connection engine. Retool lets you read and write to any database or API. SQL, NoSQL, GraphQL, gRPC, REST, even first-class integrations to APIs like Twilio, Slack, Stripe, Zendesk, the list goes on. Every day in Retool, companies run over 25 million queries. Retool eliminates all of the tedious, time-consuming boilerplate involved in building internal tools, and nowhere is that more evident than in our data integrations. Retool handles credential management, annoying OAuth dances, caching, logging, and so much more, so that you can get to focus on getting the right data into your app. Along those lines, one thing that we've seen come up time and time again is you want to jump right into building a tool, but you don't yet have a database configured to power it. So we're excited to officially launch the newest major addition to the Retool platform, Retool Database, hosted data storage directly in Retool. Here's the reality. Spinning up a database is never as easy as it sounds. Getting the DB set up and configured, particularly across multiple environments, requires a ton of DevOpsy steps. Iterating on your tables and fields requires a bunch of create statements and tedious migrations. And then someone has to be responsible for monitoring the database and keeping it up to date and fixing it if it goes down. So perhaps more often than we'd want to admit, we either end up putting off building the app entirely or turning to spreadsheets. Spreadsheets are kind of great. They let you quickly add tables and fields and update data directly. But as we all know, using spreadsheets to store structured data gets quickly out of hand. You're limited when it comes to data integrity, foreign keys, storage, the ability to query, set permissions, and so much more. With a spreadsheet, you're siloed away from the rest of your business data, and you're one fat finger mistake away from a potential disaster. So we wanted to combine the best of both worlds, the power of a real, scalable Postgres database with the speed and convenience of a spreadsheet. With Retool Database, what you get is this incredibly powerful way to immediately start building applications using the complete power of Retool. When you sign up for Retool, we spin up a real built-in Postgres database for you, no setup required. Use the Retool Database UI to jump right in and build out your schema. Add tables, configure fields, or upload a CSV, and Retool Database will create columns and insert your data for you. Work with tables in Retool Database just as you would a spreadsheet. Edit records directly and scan and manage your data through filtering, sorting, and searching. But again, Retool Database is a real Postgres database. Write real SQL queries against Retool Database from Retool Apps and Retool's query library. Retool Database also automatically maps to your different Retool environments. That means you can develop an app against your dev database and then release it to your end users against your prod database. You can even migrate schema changes between them. Retool Database is available right now for free for all Retool Cloud and on-prem customers. And of course, the best thing about Retool is that you can take all of your business data and quickly build powerful, actionable UIs to interact with it. To share more, here's Emily.
Thanks, Taylor. Hi, everyone. I'm Emily, and I lead the engineering team for our core app building product here at Retool. We often talk about how Retool lets you build apps remarkably fast, and that starts with the dev environment itself. Retool is a live programming environment, which means you can use the app while you build it. There's no hot reloading, no backend server to wrangle or restart, and no brittle build tools to keep up to date. But speed isn't just about the dev environment alone. We're accelerating all parts of the software development process, how quickly you can get started and how quickly you can iterate. Building an app always starts with the basics, the components users interact with, like a button to trigger an action or an input to collect an email. Binding data to your UI is fast and easy in Retool. For example, you can instantly populate a dropdown with a list of options queried directly from your Postgres database, and then modify the styling parameters to make things look just right. We have over 100 UI components that you can use for the building blocks of nearly any app. They're production ready the moment you drop them onto the canvas. We handle all of the little things like validation and keyboard navigation for you. What does production ready really mean, though? For a UI component, it's considering the hundreds of states and corner cases that a user might encounter. Think about all of the tiny details involved in working with just one type of input, like dates and times. These components need features like min-max validation, time zone handling, and date formatting, just to name a few. We sweat all of those details, so you don't have to. Let me give you an example. We all know how annoying it can be to work with time zones. But in Retool, you can use our manage time zone setting across our entire suite of date and time components, so time zones just work. All of our components are designed for customization, too. Define the step size of time increments, change a prefix icon, or conditionally disable an entire component. And since it's Retool, all of these properties are dynamic. You can customize any of them with code. So let me share what's new to make building even faster. Our updated drag and drop is now much more precise. Once you've got a couple of components wired up, you can quickly build the rest of your app. As you move components, you'll get an exact preview of where they'll land. It's so fast. Changing the position of a component doesn't require tedious refactoring or tinkering with Flexbox rules. And there are now tons of new shortcuts to make common actions easy, like double-clicking the edge of a component to fill the available space. Drag and drop isn't the only layout tool you have anymore. You can now right-click on any container or form to get access to even more layout controls. add or paste components directly to the header, body, or footer, or even collapse empty rows to clean up your layout. We're also investing in ways to help you generate UI. Now, you can instantly create a form from common data sources or from any table on the canvas. Retool creates and wires up all of the input components for you. And if you're working with a SQL resource, we'll even generate a query to write the changes back to your database. Another recent launch is the command palette. With it, you can use your keyboard to take almost any action, like quickly finding and configuring a component, inspecting its state in our debug tools, or taking other common actions in Retool, like jumping directly to another app, shared query, resource, or page across your organization. And we're also constantly investing in performance. Over the past couple months, we've been working on updating our core runtime to be up to 75% faster on page load, and we're excited to roll it out to all apps soon. 2023 is a big year for app performance at Retool, and that means every time we find ways to optimize your apps, you'll see the benefit automatically. And because of our commitment to backwards compatibility, you don't have to worry about your older apps breaking or becoming out of date. They just get faster as we get faster. And while there's a lot of exciting performance improvements coming, they go beyond driving down page load and query times. We're making our components faster too, starting with our table. We know for data-intensive applications, you want to render 1,000 rows and 20 columns without hearing your laptop fan start. So we've rebuilt our table from the ground up. It's now in beta and will be rolling out to all customers soon. To solve many business problems, though, you don't even need to build a UI. Think back-end processes and automation like cron jobs, notifications, and ETL tasks. That's why we launched Retool Workflows to public beta a few months ago. In just the last 4 weeks, early users have triggered over 10 million workflow runs to do everything from routing support tickets to managing large-scale inventory. And I'm excited to share some of the new features we launched just this month. Now, in addition to JavaScript, you can run Python code blocks as steps in your workflows. And you can use a bunch of default libraries, like pandas and NumPy, to analyze data or automate business-critical scripts. And today, I'm so excited to introduce GPT support in Retool for the first time. At Retool, we believe that bringing GPT to business use cases is going to be transformative. So we're starting by adding support to query GPT directly from the Workflows canvas using our new Smart Block. It will help your teams do things like quickly add summaries to sales reports, perform sentiment analysis on incoming support tickets or requests, or anything else where you might be working with unstructured data. Workflows is a great place to start exploring natural language in application development, and we're excited to introduce it to the rest of the Retool platform soon. Think building full web apps with natural language, assisted query authoring, and a ton more GPT-powered operations. I'm so excited to see what you're going to build on Retool. Now, I'll pass this back to Sneer.
Thanks, Emily. For everyone in the audience, you can use all the features you just heard about by logging into Retool. If you're not a customer yet, sign up for our free plan to get started. We'd love your feedback on what you've seen and what we should build next. Next up, we'll dive into a live building session using our App Builder, Retool Database, and Retool Workflows, all three combined. You'll also get an inside look at how we've scaled our infrastructure to help thousands of teams build performant apps. Thank you for joining us today. Here's Kevin.